Hey, what's up guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports. Let's get right into it. Make sure you hit subscribe, like, and notifications on your freaking phone, desktop, or tablet, whatever you gotta do. So here's the deal. Over the weekend, or last night, pitiful performance from the Lakers. So let's get right into it. Should LeBron James ask for a trade at the end of the season? He's got one more year left. Russell Westbrook's got one more year left. I think Anthony Davis got like 2, maybe 3. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But I'll leave you guys the question. Should LeBron James ask for a freaking trade? Because after last night's performance, you have to admit that was the worst performance from the Lakers in 40 days. I remember 2 months ago they got blown up by Minnesota and got booed at the Staples Center. At that time it was Staples Center. Now it's Crypto.com. But the main thing is, I want to ask you guys: should LeBron James ask for a trade? You tell me.
Steve Nick, should LeBron want out after the season?
He should damn sure think about it, I'll tell you that much. But I'll say this, a couple of things that I think that are important. Russell Westbrook was hilarious right there. He was absolutely hilarious. Please don't get me wrong. And I know he didn't mean it the way that it was coming across. But when you're struggling the way that he has struggled and the way the team has struggled, for this particular franchise, that's going to be taken differently. And him being a Los Angeles native should know that. If you're in Oklahoma City, you can do that because we know what he meant to that franchise. But the Lakers are a different animal with championship expectations every year that this team hasn't come close to living up to. And a lot of people point at him. So I just wish he'd guard himself because he'll end up getting criticized for it when it's not deserved, because I know he didn't mean anything by it. But just be careful with that. The other thing I want to say is this. Should LeBron consider wanting out of Los Angeles? Sure he should. I don't think he will because La La is different than Lake Erie, and I certainly understand that. But the flip side to it, y'all, is this. LeBron delivered the championship. And last time I checked, he's playing like an MVP candidate. The one person who should never be booed by the Los Angeles Lakers fan is LeBron James. No matter what, no matter how bad it is, no matter how good it is, this man has been a model of consistency, professionalism, and greatness for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think we all can look at LeBron's play on the court. If you wanted to get on him for the roster, that's a different matter. But looking at LeBron James' play on the court, can we seriously sit here and look at him and find fault with how he has played? I can't. I've watched him all year long. And I'm not saying he's perfect every moment because, of course, he's not. But you talk about a dude that is playing hard, is going all out, and producing digits. 29, 6, and 7? I mean, that's what he's averaging on 51.9% shooting, on nearly 35% shooting from three-point range. At age 37 in his 19th season, half the time without Anthony Davis. This is not the person that Los Angeles Lakers fans should be booing because he committed a turnover. That's what they did last night. And I would say to the Los Angeles Lakers fans, who I love dearly, Laker Nation, but mind your manners and watch yourself, because LeBron has not cheated you. He has not done that. Remember where you were before he arrived and what you accomplished within 2 years after his arrival. I can't believe they got me defending LeBron James, but he deserves it here.
Well, you know what? You're about 50% right on some of the things that you said, and then the other stuff, I don't even know how you uttered it out your mouth. Okay, so because here's the simple fact. It wasn't about what LeBron James has did overall for the Los Angeles Lakers. It wasn't about what LeBron James has done up to this point of the season. They was booing LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers about last night. And if you watched the game last night, LeBron James, yes, he had 30-some points or whatever the case may be, but his body language stunk. It was horrible from the start of the game. His body language, and then it went all the way down to the last man, like the hanging of the head, the pouting, the not getting back in transition. He deserved to get booed. And you know what happened? In the first quarter, in the second quarter, LeBron was non-existent. Then all of a sudden, they started booing him late in the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter, he decided to start playing hard. So he doesn't get a pass at all. Now, should he want out later on down the line, but he can't want out after this season. Remember, you came on here time and time again. Remember, you came on here time and time again saying that he helped put this roster together.
That's true.
So if you made this bed, you have to lay in it. And the world knows how I feel about my brother LeBron James that I grew up with since the 7th grade. But accountability is accountability. And we cannot let him off the hook for this mess that is going on in Los Angeles. Although he has been playing well this season, in particular, last night, his body language was horrible. And as the leader of that team, he cannot do that.
I won't lie. I was watching the game last night in and out of a sleep nap because I knew I had to be here. And I was like, is that another turnover? Is that another turnover? Is that C.J. McCollum knocking down a three? Are they going to put up any sort of resistance? At one point, I legit thought I was watching a sketch of how bad the Lakers have been this season, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to split the difference between the two of you, Perk and Stephen A. I think that LeBron should explore options to leave. Because if there's anybody in the league that has the cachet to make a mess and just kind of walk away, it would be LeBron James. And I think when we look at the arc of his career, he has not been bashful about wanting to be in the best position for whatever his goals are, both personally and professionally. Now, I understand that LA aligns with all of the other things he's doing off the basketball court, but really quick anecdotal story. When we were out at All-Star, one of the security guards just, chopping it up, chatting with him, he made the point that Kobe will always be the king of LA and that LeBron is the king of Cleveland. I understand that he says he wants to stay put, but I see this as a fluid situation because to me, in terms of the legacy and what he means to the state of Ohio, that should be something that is worth exploring down the road. But as far as this season goes, we knew how bad this team was in this last night. Is it the basement? Could it get worse?
We got to move on, but I'm going to say this. KP, you're absolutely right when you talk about the point of him assembling the roster. No disagreement there. I was just saying if it gets to a point where Laker Nation is lumping you in with the likes of Russell Westbrook, for example, or anybody else that they want to boo, that's a problem, and it should be a problem for LeBron James because last night notwithstanding, the vast majority of this season, we've seen him do what he's done.
I don't have an answer from tonight. I mean, obviously, you talk about the future. That's for us all to figure out. I mean, you don't know what can happen in the next, few weeks. But tonight, I mean, from the 6-minute point of the second quarter through the third, no answers. No, this season is definitely different.
Does the booing, pretty loud, especially at the end of the game, does that stick with you? Like, how do you respond to that? Like, you don't take that home with you?
Take it home for what?
I don't think about it.
One. Take it home. Man, well, I got 3 beautiful kids at my house. My wife ain't taking it home. They can take their boo and they can take their home. I ain't worried about that. Doesn't bother me none.
All right, so I suppose that's fine. Here's Tim Legler with us, but they've got problems, Legs. I mean, it has been such a bad and disappointing season for the Lakers that to suggest anything felt like the low point seems like hyperbole, but last night sort of did. How do we explain where this team is right now?
No, it absolutely was a low point, Greeny, because when you have that kind of lack of ball security and lack of regard for ball security, and then a lack of competitive will to make up for that, which you saw with some of the defensive breakdowns that they had, and really just lack of effort on that end of the floor, it doesn't get worse than it looked last night for the Lakers. And this is a team right now, I think their biggest issue is they do not fight through adversity within the course of an individual game. when they have runs go against them, or they have a series of possessions that they string together that don't go their way, you see the body language change. You see the shoulders drop. You see the head drop. You see the lack of chemistry when they're walking off the floor to go to the huddle and to hopefully get some answers on how they can go out there and make adjustments. You don't see any sort of connectivity amongst these players, and it really all came to a head last night. That's the worst performance of the year by far for the Lakers. You can't win an NBA game, you turn the ball over that many times, particularly when defensively you show that lack of effort as well. So right now the Lakers are an absolute mess. It's been sort of a mess all season long, but to face a game like they did last night this late in the year, it's a real problem. I still think they're going to be a play-in team, but Green, it's impossible to fathom this team winning a 7-game series against some of these top teams in the Western Conference. They're too good, they're too deep, they're too connected, they shoot it too well, and they've got great star leadership. The Lakers right now are lacking all of those things.
Yeah, to bear in mind, the winner of the play-in scenario is either going to play Phoenix, Golden State, or Memphis in a first-round situation. Impossible to picture right now the Lakers competing with any of those teams.
So basically, there you have it. LeBron James, I gotta agree with Monica. He has the cachet to do whatever he wants. Me personally, I think him staying would be beneficial to his business career. But basketball-wise, if he's looking for the elusive 5th ring, you might want to explore his options, because it's at the end of the day, you are looking for the 5th ring, and it's hard to imagine the Lakers gonna win next year because of the fact that Russell Westbrook is still under contract. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, I'm just saying he doesn't fit. They should have done that. They should have known that last summer, but Lakers got too cocky. They got jealous of the big 3 in Brooklyn, and at the end of the day, they screwed themselves over. So I'll say it now, Lakers are not making the playoffs, and LeBron James should ask for a trade at the end of the season. Jag from Jaggy Sports.